It's summer 2018 and Britain's in the grip of a searching heat wave. After months of weather that's strikingly hot, the ground is barren and parched. But in the skies above, archaeologists are making some startling revelations about the landscape. These are secrets that have lain hidden for thousands of years. Throughout June, July, and much of August 2018, Britain basked in record-breaking temperatures, with highs topping 35 degrees Celsius. In fact, it was the hottest summer ever recorded in England. The average of 17.2 degrees Celsius beat the previous record set during the famous heat waves of 1976. As people across the country enjoyed the long run of warm weather, the tourist industry boomed. But while seaside resorts and outdoor attractions reaped the benefits, the heat wave brought downsides too. For example, the extreme temperatures sparked wildfires in places like Greater Manchester. Horsepipe bans came into force across Northern Ireland too. Meanwhile, the famously green countryside of the United Kingdom began to suffer. As drought kicked in, crops began to fall, leaving the vegetation wilted and sparse. But even though it was a concerning time for the region's farmers, the desolation of Britain's fields and hillsides had a surprising upside as well. For archaeologists, the heat wave gave the ideal conditions to study what's known as crop marks. These are visual imprints on the landscape that allow experts to determine where certain features might have once been located. Over time, these marks have proved an important tool in mapping the forgotten landmarks of the British Isles. Apparently, different archaeological features can cause crop marks to form. For example, if a wall is buried underground, the vegetation growing above it will suffer as it has limited access to water and fertile soil. Meanwhile, filled ditches can provide a higher level of nutrients, resulting in healthier, greener growth. Ever since the 18th century, experts have used these crop marks to learn more about the structures and buildings that once existed in the landscape. This is even true for those that have been buried for thousands of years. And when conditions are exceptionally dry, such as during a heat wave, these reminders become even more pronounced. This spell of hot weather has provided the perfect conditions for our aerial archaeologists to see beneath the soil, as crop marks are much better defined when the soil has less moisture, explained Duncan Wilson from Historic England, a governmental agency that works to protect ancient landmarks. Towards the end of June, Dr. Toby Driver, an aerial investigator with the Royal Commission on the Ancient and Historical Monuments of Wales, took to the skies to get the best vantage point to see crop marks across the country. Traveling in a light aircraft, his aim was to record details of the imprints, and he had to get that done before the heat wave ended and conditions changed. Amazingly, some of Driver's discoveries had been lost for thousands of years. For example, near the village of Magor in southeast Wales, lines of greener vegetation marked the spot where a small Roman fort once stood. Meanwhile, just 4 miles away in Langstone, Newport, the heat wave had revealed location of an ancient farm. Elsewhere, the heat wave had revealed more information about existing sites, such as the Roman villa or farm located on the Monmouthshire village of Kywent and parts of Cross Oak, Hilford, an ancient settlement of Powys. Furthermore, crop marks also painted a strikingly clear picture of Castel Ewan Gwynno. This is a medieval mound of Ceredigion that's almost disappeared through years of plowing. Meanwhile, in July and August, archaeologists from Historic England took to flying across the landscape and snapping photographs of crop marks on the ground below. And according to experts, the results were the best they've had since 2011. In that year, more than 1,500 new sites were revealed. Among the prehistoric features revealed were 2 rectangular crop marks located close to the Buckinghamshire village of Clifton Rains. Apparently, they represent the remains of a Cursus monument, a type of Neolithic structure typically dating from the 4th millennium BC. And even though the left-hand structure had previously been studied, the one on the right lay hidden until 2018. According to experts, there are more than 100 known Cursus monuments across England today, many discovered by aerial archaeologists. Interestingly, it's believed that they once served as processional walkways and possibly as a way of dividing the landscape. And amazingly, some of them stretch as many as 6 miles long. In Pocklington, a market town in Yorkshire Wolds, aerial archaeologists spotted 4 crop marks that show where the ditches surrounding ancient burial sites once stood. Thought to date back to the Iron Age, similar mounds have been found to contain grand burials complete with grave treasures, making this discovery a particularly exciting one. Up and down the country, aerial archaeologists continue to uncover astounding evidence of Britain's ancient past. In fact, in Cornwall alone, dozens of new sites were discovered. These include the remains of an Iron Age settlement in the village of St. Ive. Also found were more prehistoric structures on the coast of Lancelos. Other notable discoveries include a possible ancient cemetery in the Suffolk village of Stoke by Clare and the remains of a Roman farm located in Bicton in Devon. And interestingly, some more modern relics were uncovered as well. These included the lost 16th century structures that once surrounded Staffordshire's Tixall Hall. The discovery of ancient farms, settlements, and Neolithic cursus monuments is exciting, enthused Wilson. The exceptional weather has opened up whole areas at once rather than just one or two fields, and it's been fascinating to see so many traces of our past graphically revealed. Meanwhile, Historic Environment Scotland has announced similar findings in the north of the UK. These include a temporary camp erected by Romans and Iron Age remains close to the border with England. Here, archaeologists claim that the conditions of summer 2018 were the best in more than 40 years for spotting crop marks. But although the amount of new discoveries made during the 2018 heatwave is impressive, many of these sites will never be excavated by professionals. However, some of them can now be given protection, preventing damage from factors like development and deep plowing, hopefully preserving them for future generations.